Welcome to this episode of Relationships Turned On. Now, this would probably have to be one of the most requested podcast, YouTube videos that I have done because I get DMs about this. It comes up in sessions. It's a big triggering topic for a lot and people get very bent out of shape around this. So why your partner stopped wanting sex? It's not what you think. And your partner isn't rejecting you. They're struggling with something that you don't actually see. So this is a very important lens to have this conversation through because often we think, it's about us, they don't want us, something's happened, or like we really get in our heads about this, we really catastrophize, we really go into all the thoughts, the feelings, and start freaking out when often there's something deeper happening. And so often couples, maybe that's been great for a while, maybe it's never been the biggest thing in the relationship, but for some reason they've stopped wanting intimacy, they've stopped wanting sex. So it's not just about attraction or desire, it's a lot deeper than that. And there's a lot of things go into intimacy itself. It is not just about what happens in the bedroom, although that's important. It's about what happens outside as well. And so I really want to break this down for you, why this is happening, what you can do about it, all this kind of thing, because it is such a big topic. And now people will say, like, we've had kids and then things have changed. Well, of course, right? However, it doesn't mean it shouldn't be even better after having kids. Right? So there's a lot to this topic, but I think this is a really important conversation to have. So if you're listening on YouTube, hit subscribe because there's some great episodes coming your way. And the more subscribers, the more content I can make, which really, really helps you, right? So, like I say, I see this in sessions all of the time, and there are things that change. Sure, our appearance can change, our weight can change, our lifestyle can change. Before kids, after kids, new job, promotion, da 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 da. Stress is a huge factor, obviously, that comes into intimacy. It is not just about attraction and desire. So for most people, especially in long-term relationships, it's not just physical, it's emotional. So if your partner feels unheard, unseen, or distant in any way, then intimacy takes a hit for sure. If you do not feel connected, if there's emotional disconnection between you two, then most of the time, your partner will not want to be intimate. So it's not that they're not physically attracted to you. Maybe they're not getting the attention or the love or the affection. They don't feel appreciated, seen, and heard. So this is really important to focus on. So what do we do about that? We need to actually focus on rebuilding reconnection outside of the bedroom. Deeper conversation, acts of love and service, quality time. Maybe sometimes there's resentment underneath this, and sometimes there's conversation that needs to be had and resolved so you can reconnect properly. Sometimes there's a myriad of deeper things that do need to go and look at, and often you do need to get support for that. So number 2 is stress and mental load. This is a huge one that will stop a lot of couples, and I see especially women will talk about this one, men too, but a lot of times women, they'll talk about work stress, parenting, just life overload, like the admin, the logistics of running a house, let alone working or running a business, and their mind's constantly racing, so they can't actually switch off to connect, or they feel like there's just so much that like that's just another thing to do, and it's another thing on their to-do list, and it's just becomes a chore instead of enjoyable. So really important, here's the tip on this one to help lighten their load: offer support, take things off their plate, create moments where you can relax together, get massages together if you can, outsource some cleaning, like delegate some things, get your kids to do more chores and jobs. How do we take the stress and mental load out of it is extremely important for connection and intimacy. If you are 100% stressed, now there are some people that will be 100% stressed and still want intimacy, but a lot of people will not. There's a high percentage that will not. Then you've got to figure out, what are the stresses? How do we outsource, eliminate, or delegate them? How do you support each other with them? How do they feel supported by you? Very, very important when it comes to intimacy. And then start putting those wheels in motion. Now, the next one is routine kills desire. So honestly, passion thrives typically on novelty, on something different. And oftentimes over a long-term relationship becomes predictable and they kind of lose interest, or things aren't changed up and they know what's going to happen. Or maybe you haven't even had conversations to voice what you do like now. What you like 10 years ago might not be the same now. And so it becomes boring, or it becomes like, ugh, you just don't like it anymore because maybe it's different to what you imagine. Like there's a whole lot of reasons. And most of the time you're not communicating about this. This is the biggest problem I see in terms of intimacy. You do not communicate, and you do not ask your partner, what do they want? What do they dream of? And get their feedback. That's the most important feedback you could ever get about intimacy, is what your partner wants, thinks, or desires. But also switch it up, shake things up. New date ideas, like do something fun, spontaneous affection, like even switching up your usual routine can create that novelty, which is where kind of the passion thrives. So break out of the mold. I know it's really easy to get stuck into. But what could you do differently? Maybe you could go and do a hobby together. Maybe you could do a cooking class together. Maybe you could just like create some different space. Maybe you could go for a night away in a hotel, away from responsibilities, away from all sorts of things. There's a lot of research as well around context, especially for sometimes females, sometimes with men, but especially for females around context, as where they are in their environment can affect their desire dramatically. Hormones and health issues. Now, look, I see this a lot. Sometimes we have health issues, there's hormone issues, and it affects testosterone. Hormonal changes affects men and women. Medications really do impact libido. And so this can be a really, really big factor. So maybe you want to go check with your doctor, check with your naturopath, get maybe an integrative doctor and really dive deeper into this because it can be a big deal. A low-hanging fruit is exercise, obviously, that can really help boost libido. Sometimes it's not just one of these factors, sometimes it's multiple of these factors coming together. I just want you to keep that in mind as you listen to this episode. The next one is unspoken resentment. Now, if nothing else, this one will kill your intimacy more than all of the others put together. Unresolved conflicts, small annoyances, past hurts, quiet walls between you, like not actually letting each other fully in, can be a big deal. This will be the number one reason couples stop being intimate over all of the other things. So you need to really check in and ask what's been weighing on them, what's going on, create safe space for emotional conversations, and maybe you need to figure out how to resolve those. Often resolving resentment requires support. Sometimes it's deeply held. Sometimes it's been going for 10 years. So if it's been going for 10 years, don't expect it to be resolved in 2 minutes, right? There's processes around these and different things you can do to move forward. The next one is a lack of non-sexual touch. So if the only time you're playful, flirty, silly, affectionate is when you want to be intimate, then they'll probably start pulling away. You need to have affection and pressure-free touch, hugs, holding hands, cuddling, without expectation of it leading further. This is a big issue for a lot of people. If they think, okay, well, it's just for that, then they don't want it because it's like, well, why aren't you affectionate with me in other settings at other times? Why am I not important enough for you to be affectionate, playful, silly, flirtatious in other contexts? So this is extremely important. It's about the value you place on the other person. Now, this might be unconsciously, like you wouldn't be meaning to do this, but this could be unconscious. The next one is body image and self-esteem. A lot of times I see couples after they've had kids, their weight and different things can really impact their sex life. And so if people feel self-conscious, vulnerable, or stressed around their image, then often they want to withdraw. A few key things with this one is 1, reassure them. Compliments, appreciations, making them feel desired can be really powerful. And the other is if they're ready, or if this is you listening, start taking action. Sometimes just going for a walk, drinking lots of water, starting those few low-hanging fruits, maybe doing a bit of exercise, even 10, 15 minutes can boost your self-esteem. I know it sounds crazy because necessarily nothing's changed, but you get those flood of good feeling endorphins and it boosts your confidence. So that is a really important tip to, even if you're working on it, like humans are typically happy with progress. So even if you're working on it, it can make a big difference to your intimacy. The last one is they don't feel desired either. So sometimes the partner who stopped wanting sex actually stopped feeling wanted first. So flirt with them, make the first move and remind them they're still attractive to you. And the other one, I'm just going to add on a bonus one, is rejection. Sometimes the other person has been rejected so many times that they've given up. They don't want to interact anymore. They are sick of being rejected, so they just say, I'm not going to do it anymore. So what I really encourage you to do is maybe have a conversation around that, maybe apologize, because sometimes we shut people down in ways we shouldn't do, and really get this back on track. Because if they feel rejected, then they don't feel attractive, they don't feel wanted, they don't feel desired, and then they kind of opt out. They say, oh, well, this is not a part of our relationship anymore, or I'm just going to get shut down and it hurts too much, so I'm not even going to engage in this. Now, look, if all these things are happening to you, or 1 or 2 of these things are happening, don't panic. There's so much you can do to get back on track. So I would love to know which one of these things surprised you the most that actually kills intimacy. What do you think is the number one thing out of all of these that surprised you? Because some of them are obvious, some of them are not so obvious. And so look, if you want, you can. So I would love for you to subscribe or leave a review. Tell me what you got from this episode. I love to hear from you. It means a lot to know that you are listening. So I hope you got a tip from this episode, and just know that there's so much you can do if you're in this position. It does not have to be a lifelong situation. Sometimes it's just a season we're in. We need to work through a few things and we can get back on track. So you can stop feeling like roommates, get back to being lovers, and reconnect and reunite. Thank you for listening.